figure out how to do, and it can be only just a one-page website. But another thing, let me pass this around. My printer ran out of ink. I usually pass out a handout of these things that are internet resources for writers, and I do have a section on how to start a blog and all of these things. So if you want me to send you that file, sign up your email address and I'll get it out to you in the next couple of days.
Any other questions?
This is one of the things about blog commenting is one of the ways I knew that I was spending way too much time on the internet is when I went to the first Thriller Fest, which is the International Thriller Writers Convention in Phoenix, and about 8 or 9 people came up to me and said, "Oh yeah, I know you from such and such blog. You're a comic, you comment," and I have my own, and it was all different blogs too, you know, but that's actually not a bad thing for an aspiring writer, because some of the people that were coming up to me were people like Lee Child, you know. And I say, "Oh, I know your blog," and I'm like, "Great," you know, because, you know, Lee Child's huge and he's a great guy.
Well, you have a focus to your blog too. This is what he has a theme. It's political ranting, basically, but done really, really. It's funny, and people really. He has a following of people who really like what he has to say. So if you have that kind of, you know, big mouth and a focus to it,
incurable smartass. Yeah, go ahead.
Right. I mean, yeah. But look, I mean, the first time he goes to a major convention, all of these people knew him because of that. So it's a good thing. Use it.
In the green shirt in the middle.
As a first-time writer, how do you get yourself in the newspaper? In a review in the newspaper? What is the magic there?
Smartass comment rises immediately to mind. Run your car into somebody. Excuse me? No, you want to take that?
Peter actually, being the book review editor, I asked him about that. And he said, I actually asked him the question, what was it like having your own book, having to go out and solicit reviews from newspapers, having been the book review editor? And he made a really smart comment in that interview, which is on the howtopublishabook.org website, and he said that find a local angle with a book. Think about what your book and their writing a review of your book can actually do to reach their readership and can benefit them. And I think too often as aspiring writers we think, "Oh, I've got this book, people are going to love it, and it's a book, by God, and you know, people are going to want to write reviews of it." It's not enough. There are a lot of books published every year. And so I think the key, at least from the book review editor of the News and Observer's point of view, was to find a local angle and something that if he picks up this book and he reads the letter along with it, says, "Oh, this is something that would benefit us as a newspaper to run a review on this."
Okay, very good, thanks.
How do we find this video on YouTube?
This video here, I'm going to title it How to Publish a Book, How to Get a Literary Agent, but if you go to the howtopublishabook.org website, it should be on there within the next 24 hours as well. So.
And also, the search function, just Google Stacey Cochran, because all of his videos come on.
I had a question more towards the literary agent. I'm about 70% through with the first novel that I've been working on for the past 6 months. So I've already started the process of trying to figure out how to get it published. And I came across the fact that 85% of the large publishing houses won't take a manuscript submitted by an individual. There are actually 2 big ones out there that will, but your chances are greatly increased by having an agent. And I found an agent, what was it called? I think it was called Agent Finder or something like that on the web that actually had thousands of agents listed. But the thing that got me kind of confused is you guys pretty much reinforced what I thought, that you really want to find an agent that has worked within the genre you're writing into, and trying to figure out which ones have sold, let's say, fantasy versus thriller versus sci-fi. That's not really spelled out very well on these websites. So trying to figure out which agents have sold works within your genre, that seems to be a challenge.
Best trick I know is go find the books that you love, that you want to write like. Look in the acknowledgments. They'll usually thank their agent.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, you know,
they'd be idiots not to.
Oh yeah, you want to. Yeah, you definitely. You always, profusely thank my agent. You know, because he's a good agent.
Yeah, and they will say, "And my fabulous agent."
Right.
Dot, you know. And so start making records right now. Every time you like a book, if you see it in your genre, just, you know, start a notebook on agents, and also, again, I'll send this around in the internet resources, but yeah, I know.
And by the way, Dusty, I have to say thank you. He actually mentions my name on the acknowledgments page. When I read that, I almost got choked up. It was really, that was the first time it actually made it into print in a St. Martin's. So if you guys want to pass that around and look at the acknowledgments.
If I really like you, I name a character after you and kill them off.
I really like the thing that you said about one of the things that got you into writing was because, you know, you had this idea for something and you couldn't find anything like it out there. The whole reason that I started writing the book that I've been working on, which actually is one of 3 because I've already got the other 2 formulated in my head, is because as a science fiction person, I love science fiction. I haven't found anything out there quite like what I've envisioned, and so I owe it to myself to get it down.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I think that's the motivating force for most writers. It's the book that you're looking for and isn't out there.
Right. Write the book you want to read.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do most agents, when you get an agent and you have a product that you want him to promote, does he contact a lot of publishers? Does
Hopefully.
he shop around?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's a
job,
good
yeah.
question. If it's an agent like their agent, he is going to probably read the manuscript and say, okay, I know who this is perfect for right away. Would you not agree, that Scott?
Well,
He also
yes,
shopped to
but
a lot of different people.
yeah, I mean, what the process is, there's about 8 places you can sell something, you know, the 8 major publishers. So you go to those first and all at the same time, because what they want is a bidding war. They want to sell at auction. So they want to sell it, get it out to those so that they can have competing bids, hopefully. And if not, then hopefully one of those people, and then they go to the B list, and then they go to the C list. So that's the general process for a New York agent, and it's the same with scripts in Hollywood. You know, you try to get the big sale first, and then you go down. So no, if your agent is only going to one person, that's probably not a good thing. You want probably a list of 8, all at the same time.
Is there a benefit of having more than one agent and hopefully getting some competitive spirit there?
No agent will let you do
They
that.
won't work
yeah.
with you until you sign the contract.
Yeah.
Yeah, one
Yeah.
stipulation of most standard agent contracts is going to be that agent is your sole agent for 12 months or for the duration of the book. I signed with an agent based out of Southern California in 2005, and that was just part of the standard contract that she used for all of her authors. And if I decided to break the contract, if she couldn't sell the book and didn't want to represent another book, I had to let her know in writing before I could actually sign with another agent, which we had to do, unfortunately, which is a big part of this business. Keep in mind, even an agent doesn't guarantee a sell. I've heard the statistic, and you guys have probably heard the numbers as well. 9 out of 10 agented manuscripts from first-time authors actually don't find a home. So even with an agent, your odds are 1 in 10. I don't know how accurate that statistic is, but I've heard it enough places that it's been corroborated a few times. So.
At what point do you need a lawyer?
For a book, you don't really need one. If you have a good agent, they're going to be covering that. Now, that's not the same. If you're selling a script, you need an entertainment attorney because the contracts are harder. But a good agency will have lawyers in the agency going over your contract.
And a really good agent is going to have a law degree. I mean, that would be the best situation, would be to have an agent who actually has an entertainment law degree, I would think, or a contract law degree. You know.
Do you guys use a private editor before you send it out, or do you let the house do that?
I don't. I mean, I have a couple of first readers, my wife being one of them, which is probably one of the reasons that my female characters turn out so well, because she tells me, like, no woman would ever do that. True story, my editor made a suggestion one time for a plot twist involving my female character, and I turned to my wife just from the computer, And I said, you know, Ben thinks I should do this, and she's looking at me, no. My wife says I can't do that.
How do you
But you know,
actually
that's
find
I
it?
don't really have a professional editor look over first because that's what I've got at St. Martin's.
I have a writing group that serves as my editing, and we've known each other for a really long time. But I think it's important to have that kind of, he says first readers, I have people looking at chapters one at a time, but yeah, I will take all the help I can get.
I want to steer this back towards craft a little bit. We can get a little bit excited and overwhelmed by the agenting, and that becomes sort of our blinders, is let's get an agent. But there's a ton of truth to learning the craft first and writing that novel or that nonfiction book that's just going to knock an agent and a publisher and editor's socks off. So one of the questions that's come up in my writing group, and I have one of my writing group participants here, she'll raise her hand at the back of the room, Elisa is here, is how much emphasis should be put on character in contrast to plot. Do you write a plot-driven novel or do you write a character-driven novel? And I know in my own reading taste kind of what I like personally, but let's address that, plot versus character, and how do you balance the two, or does it just come naturally to you, Alex?
Well, I always say that I'm plot-driven, and but it's like 51% plot and 49% character. I mean, you know, it's, even though I start with plot most of the time, it's really just setting the stage for the character.